you know, a firmer bottom in some places would be nice, right? Can't be guaranteed that that's gonna happen, you know, cause it's gonna get nutrients. It's not necessarily gonna get everything that's soft. It's not a soft remover. It will, if it does clear your lake up, it will make it more amenable for a contact herbicide to be used in the future because it will get rid of that ability to create the suspended sediments. To me, it's, yeah, it's a,
I thought that they had, solar area.
They do make good. In Washington, I don't know if I'd recommend it because of lack of sun, but, we can look into it. Okay.
Our solar, we bought it on
That's true.
fire.
you know,
That have a lot of-
Fish and Wildlife will be most concerned about dissolved oxygen.
Yeah.
In between the well, yeah, and that's what this would do. That would be your biggest concern to use it in a large portion of the lake, especially because you guys are so shallow.
The pellets are telling that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because basically what it does is it evolves that carbon
Oh.
dioxide. It releases the carbon dioxide, which is gonna get rid of your oxygen.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have some sort of aerator system that helps counteract that.
Correct, exactly.
Mhm.
Seems like it might have limited use somewhere, but probably not to
Okay.
crop dust the whole lake with them.
Right.
Like, I like Hawkins.
Yeah.
Muck up.
But it does have, you know, it's like one of those,
Yeah, yeah,
It's interesting.
interesting.
I'd like to see Long Lake and Lake Lawrence use it first.
Yeah,
See how they, you know,
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one out on Anderson Island also that's starting to use them as well. Josephine Lake, I think, is starting to use them, so we'll see what.
Can convince Doug Kramer to use it in the upper little basin up there.
Okay, I'll see what he does. See what he says.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could get a personal account of someone local who's tried it.
You know where a great place would be is that, because you guys do Lake Lawrence and
Yep.
Long Lake, right?
Yep.
So they have that narrow channel that is super shallow right in between the North Basin and the main part of Long Lake. That would be a good experimental spot.
It would,
It probably has a lot of flow back.
Yeah.
right?
Well, and
That'd
it's
be
the
fun.
shallowest part, and you got a lot of people now who've lived off of that little corner, little canal thing
Yeah,
that come in and they want to use their boats in the bigger part of the lake.
right. All those canals that are back there, could probably definitely use it.
Yeah.
See what Kyle can.
The Lorna Canal would be a great place too, because that's probably the best place because it gets all the sediment from Hewitt Lake, or not Hewitt Lake, but was it Pattison Lake that comes through the wetland
Yeah,
and then discharges into that Lorna Canal, and it's super, super shallow.
At least we don't have that problem.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the update. And the pictures, maps and all.
So did you guys want to talk about any more of the report?
I thought the report was really good. It built on, consistent with what we've had before. And just, kind of brought stuff forward. I
Yes,
thought it was a nice.
yeah, just to review the points of the recommendations. So we've talked about a lot of things that we started with fluoridone treatment of the whole lake, and we've gone through 6 different chemicals and we're not engaged in it. So what's the bottom line of your recommendation that we should do for Barnes Lake in 2025?
I am recommending for the sonar treatment for this year. Instead of doing the aquathol or the Dagquat, but still doing the clear cast for water shield and whitewater lily.
Okay, so 2 chemicals
Correct.
can be applied at one same time?
Different times of the year.
And the
Okay.
clear cast is okay for like fish, other, okay,
So clear cast, it has to be sprayed on the top of the plant.
that's right.
So
Oh,
it's
yes.
only
Maintain that,
emergent
yeah.
plants,
Yes.
yeah, so that none of it goes into the water column other than just little splashes.
And that one's also EPA certified reduced risk, meaning that it's less harmful for humans, wildlife, and the environment as a whole. So it has lower use rates than other products out there.
Okay, so the other stuff was all just discussion items on the side?
Yes.
Including the pellets?
Yeah.
Okay,
And it's just an option that you guys can do if you guys are interested.
okay,
We'll see what other lakes there is.
yeah, so the fluoride is for the bladder wort. Clearcast is for the white water lilies and the water shield. Okay, and then, you were gonna try to calculate up a application cost for each of those.
For Aquapol, yeah, I got one for the sonar for the year.
Okay, and then Clearcast,
Clearcast should be pretty close to what it was last year, so.
okay,
Uh,
well,
You
don't know if you have-
remember?
I don't know if you have the records, but, we just need to figure out option one, Fluoride, option two, Clearcast. Here's what they're gonna take care of.
I just need to map how many acres of treatment you guys want for water shield, to be added. So that's gonna add to the cost of that, so.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna need at some point, right? Patrick, you guys,
Sure.
before you pay the bill, you know what the estimate is first?
Okay, sounds like a great idea.
Okay,
So ultimately, you will have to tell us whether you think we need to amend the scope of work to include the water shield.
Yeah, we're gonna need to do that.
Okay, and that's where you're gonna get your cost estimate.
So yes to amend. So which one was? I kept looking here, so there's sonar Florida, and then there's Aquathol, and then over here is.
Yeah, Mazamox is Clearcast. So that's that one.
Okay, so I thought you were talking three. Sometimes I feel like you're talking two different ones, and sometimes I feel like three.
Should be two.
Two chemicals.
Okay. So that's these two.
Yep. Yes, correct.
And so then we get an estimate, a plan and an estimate, and then we approve it, and then it happens.
Mhm.
And that happens in May.
The survey would happen in May, and then treatment would happen in May as well, probably.
We meet again.
So you have to update the permit then to demonstrate that you're gonna switch to a different chemical and do a whole lake?
Yeah, it doesn't update.
Okay.
And then I have to do a sonar, do a Florida management plan unless there's one already in place.
Do you know, was that ever done?
I mean, we've done it in the past, the Florida, so it's likely there's something in place. I'm just not sure if it's current or not.
Okay.
Do you remember how long ago it was for Florida?
It was, I think it was, we were on 3 or 4 years rotation, so
Okay.
2022.
Yeah, that's what Scott thought too.
So we don't meet again until April, so this all has to go through. I guess. Today, I guess we have to like motion. Support for the concept. So that the budget can then be approved, because May is too late. Right?
We're meeting again in April,
Yeah. By then, yeah,
so I'll have the quote by then, all written up and done.
but wouldn't you have to know? To get approved on it?
Well, if he comes to the meeting with the quotes, then we can approve it then.
Well, what we can do, so. What's a reasonable time frame for you to write up an amendment?
Probably, I mean, I could probably do it within the next 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's say 3 weeks, that's around the 15th, 18th of February. I don't have a calendar in front of me. I don't know when the end of the weeks are, but say 3 weeks. How do you guys feel about coming together and adding a meeting so that you can vote on the scope of work? We can send it out to you all electronically.
I think we could review and discuss the scope of work. Absent the money, like,
Right.
like are we in favor of this, the two-step? Two different things, different times, two different, chemicals. If we approve the concept here, then the rest of it's just the money.
Right, but that's really what you're approving this, an amended scope of work. So until he writes it, I don't think we can approve it as written.
But we do intend to move forward with fluoride treatment and.
Yeah, I mean, we're still,
treatment.
we're still recommending that you
Both the
do an amendment so that we can review it and approve it and give you enough time to put it through the permit. And then what Dave and I will do, we'll forward you the scope of work. Give you a week to review it, and then we can either vote electronically or get you to come in to vote.
I think it might be better to come in to vote, so that way it can be publicly shared.
Okay.
Or we could Zoom meeting,
Yeah, we can vote.
15 minutes. Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Now.
Patrick's got it.
Unless I set it up, then I can do that.
Yeah, we can do that, and it would, if you guys have already got the documents ready and stuff. Quick, get in, vote.
So when should we do that?
Do you have a calendar open? Okay, so when is the end of the second week of February? We go with Valentine's Day.
So
No,
I'm
You can't
cruising,
get it done by Valentine's Day? It gives you
I mean, I.
2
I
weeks
can,
and
but I'm
3 days.
Going during that, so,
Oh, you're not a romantic?
I'm not saying that we have to do it on, I was,
We need to work on
send
you.
it in the 12th.
I can get it, I'll probably have it.
I can say the
probably have it
15th,
done-
it's a Saturday.
I could probably even have it done next week.
I'm having
Perfectly
trouble
honest.
with the concept. In my memory, this is something that we probably would have done had you been here in December. My experience is that if we do not get an approved quote, we're gonna miss the. Scott's not gonna be available. That's what I'm most concerned about, that there's not much for us to discuss. It's it's like, we're talking about, I'm ready to make a motion that we have approved the use of sonar fluoride. I'll make the approach. I'm gonna make the,
I think it would probably be better if we had something in writing that we could say this is what our goal is.
write that right now.
You guys have to approve us moving forward with a change of scope of work.
And
We, as a
do that.
city, can't do it.
We're a month behind on this. This was what we would do in December. I'm concerned that we're
I
gonna
don't know
miss
that we had a
that.
December meeting with Doug.
You were not able to come.
Scott, so if
In
it
November.
We haven't met him
was
since November.
approved
Yes.
And
in
Doug
February
would
or
present
March,
his
you'd be
annual
able to do
report
it in
until
May.
January.
Okay.
But we would approve the approach.
Yeah, I think,
Because
But
we,
the difference
We don't
is
have-
you
we
had a
don't have a
different
price
scope of
tag.
work.
but they do that. We say, this is what we want to do. And we have a budget to do it.
But the big difference is with Doug, I'm assuming that you had a contract that already had that in. Right now, you have a contract that does not include any of this work. So this is going to be a change in your contract.
We just make a motion that be done. We do that now. We write it down. We say theoretically, this is what we think we want this year, the two different chemicals to do, in May and June, and in late September or something like that. And That's our,
Ask the city to make the contract read that.
But,
Yes.
but the issue
But
is if
so,
he
so what if he puts $80,000 for his
Then-
treatment and then you don't
then
have the
you
budget
say,
for it?
we say money, you know, the city,
But
we
just
have a budget.
hypothetically.
yes, we have a
I
budget.
know.
And you say, this doesn't consider, then we come back and meet. But otherwise, we do not get in this, in the queue of having the work done. That's my concern.
Yeah, we don't want to miss the year.
We don't want to miss the year.
But Scott's saying if we, as long as we give him the green light by March, then he'll make it happen this year in a timely fashion.
But,
And it's recorded.
but I think Kathy's point is our next meeting is not till April. So
Yes, so we do need
But it
to
doesn't
have a
mean that we
meeting,
can't create a new meeting.
yeah, and we can
And
do
that's
it via
that's
Zoom.
fairly easy.
or
With
move
this-
the April meeting into March. Can we do that?
That's
That right now, fine.
Kathy, were you interested in avoiding another meeting? Was that?
Before. Fountain.
No,
Part of the issue?
that's not my problem. My problem is, I just don't want to be left out when companies are putting their agenda
Right,
together.
calendars together,
They're
right,
putting their calendars
Yeah.
together now. They were putting them together in December.
yeah. So does moving the April meeting into March so that we can give them the green light in March?
We pinky, you know, so. I'm good with
Well,
that.
and we can also do a 15-minute Zoom meeting. They could email out the new scope of work, everyone review it on your own time, and then we meet for 15 minutes. And if anyone has concerns, we discuss them, and if we don't, we approve it.
So, I'll try to get that to you by next week. I can,
At least
Rush
like
it.
draft.
At least before Valentine's Day.
I can definitely do
Like, you like,
I can do
does
that.
that make sense?
I've got a couple things.
Work
that
before
are-
love.
I'm not gonna have money to do that.
I
I've got a few things on my plate right now that I need to get finished, but should be able to get to that probably by the end of this week to next week is probably when I can realistically get to it. I'm gonna try to get that done by the end of next week.
I'm impressed that so many people knew when Valentine's Day was. I mean, it's not like Halloween.
I'm going on a cruise. You guys can come on a cruise.
On Valentine's Day? Okay, so are we scheduling a December Zoom meeting?
December.
February.
February?
Late February.
So what's gonna happen is Scott said he's gonna try to get us a amended scope of work by the end of next week. We will get it, review it. We will send it out to all the board members for review and quick, do you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that? If nobody feels like it needs to be amended, then we'll say, okay, then we're gonna move forward with this. We'll send out a Zoom meeting within a week after that. Make sure you guys are available. We'll find a time where you guys are agree. We'll try to, it's today Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll try to find a Wednesday night. And get a Zoom meeting for 6 o'clock on a Wednesday night. Preferably as early as the week of, that would make it the 12th of February.
Okay.
Well, for the 19th of February. so
Right.
Wednesdays.
Exactly. So if everything goes super fast, we do a Zoom on the 12th, you guys approve it, and then we move forward. And then Scott knows what he has to do. We'll have to run it through our legal stuff
Absolutely.
and then we'll move forward.
Yeah.
Does that seem reasonable?
Good.
Zoom meeting 12th of February.
Or the
Or the
19th,
Yeah,
depending
I
on
see.
how quickly we get through the process.
Well,
Yeah, on the 19th.
oh, on the 19th.
Either day works for me.
I'll be in Mexico.
Ultimately, we just need to have
Just
what
make
a
it happen.
board,
Right.
Yes.
Even if it's like pulling away from like fancy dinner.
Send your proxy to somebody
Or
then,
something, yeah.
So
right?
I'm not quite sure why we couldn't potentially vote on.
If-
That's the
We
plan.
are.
Okay. And then meet on the, oh,
No,
okay, only on,
It's gonna be the 12th or the 19th, assuming that we can get through the process that quickly.
My hope is to give you guys at least roughly a week or so to review, so if we can have the documents to you by the 5th,
so what,
or that's a week away.
so are you thinking that what we're gonna get is the whole contract to review?
Just a scope of work.
Scope of work.
The scope of work is this big, the whole contract is.
And
So I'm
plan
not
and
sure.
That's
budget.
probably a week, right?
Couple works in here.
Yeah,
he said.
I'll get to it.
Work and the general plan, and then also the budget. Those are all things that we're gonna vote on the 12th.
Yeah, because we're not going back to.
Can you repeat that again?
The statement of work, the plan of how we're gonna execute,
Correct.
and then also the budget that
Well,
we're facing.
we'll show
It'll all
you the
be-
Yeah.
budget at the same time to demonstrate that we're within it.
That we have the money.
So this is what we're amending.
He will,
Right there.
2 points.
Something with yellow.
That's the pro survey.
It's gonna be tasked like 2.4.
Herbicide.
yeah, so,
2.4.
so this right here will have to be amended.
So,
Can you tell me where? There's the white lily.
Renovate,
There's clear cast.
record clear cast, yeah, right here.
Okay, so what are you gonna do with that?
Gonna change it to a full application of Floridone.
Okay.
And include,
did I hear that right?
Full lake application is what I said.
Oh,
Okay.
I bet
there'll
this,
be 2 applications.
Two.
What happens is you have to bump it up.
Right.
It has to be in at a concentration for like 30 consecutive days. And so they put out one dose and then and that's why they do full lake treatments is because the concentration, if you just do strips, it's just gonna dilute on the sides. And so you'll get poor control. So the more you do, the easier it is to maintain a concentration for that long. So they have to
You
bump
gotta
it
top
to
off.
keep it, exactly.
Okay, so that blue stuff would go to full lake. So shall you use blah, blah, blah,
shall
blah?
use Floridone.
Yeah, sonar and it'll say, you know, Floridone, same stuff.
Okay, so can I make a motion that we do that? Okay,
Did we do what?
so we can make that change.
Well, that's for these guys to make, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
We're not voting it, I mean, he's just gonna do it, cause that's what you guys want, and you can vote on it if you want, but I mean. I don't know. I don't know that you have to, but.
Yes, no? I think we're changing direction, so
Okay, so a motion to.
Yes.
I'm not part of the motioners, so.
yes. Is there a second?
To amend the scope of work.
To get us to
include
discussion, to
Florida.
get us to discussion.
Sure.
Okay,
Discuss,
second, okay,
yeah.
so discussion. Thoughts about is this what we want? To make that change. Could somebody please say the change again?
So I have a motion from Kathy to amend the current scope of work for herbicide treatment to be amended to include Floridone for a whole lake treatment.
and subsequent clear cast application.
And
Right,
I
but
think that
that's
was-
not gonna be a change because it's already in there.
Oh, okay.
But the clear cast to include nuisance native
Yes.
lilies.
Yes, that.
So that's the two changes. That's the motion.
Yes, that's the motion. That was seconded.
Okay, all in favor?
Oh, no, wait, we're doing discussion. Cause I thought I thought your mouth was moving.
No, I was just saying water shields.
Oh,
So just love to do
okay.
that.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed?
okay. So at least now we have documented guidance of what we want. Clear is kind.
Okay, so we're moving on to lake levels and water temperature?
I got nothing. I've,
Didn't I see you out
See,
there
yeah,
We
you
saved
did.
it, we saved for him, just for him to say, I got nothing.
fishing?
Come on.
No, I was able to collect the data. I have not analyzed it yet. So I've been swamped with, other priorities.
Well, the lake's higher and colder.
What was it last year with the device? Was there an issue with it? Or was it-
Yeah, the batteries conked down on us. So we did purchase a new
That's right.
device, but it's on back order. So
And that would, that's Bluetooth or something like that? or
Oh,
not?
yeah, that's what you were talking
cellular,
about.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's things.
You do it again.
Unfortunately, I don't.
I
You
know.
can't go, I'm gonna go kayak and I'll be back in a few hours.
When did you end up going?
Alright.
Okay.
That's
We ended up getting a hobo unit too.
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm real excited for it. So, but yeah, there's hopefully a dashboard.
And that's what's on back order right now.
The unit itself
Yeah.
is on back order, and we can mate it to some of our existing equipment out there, which is nice. So it was kind of nice, but yeah, I'll find another excuse to get my
Hopefully we
kayak.
can use it this year.
Yeah,
Water sampling.
yeah.
Still gotta do that.
Still gotta do that. Absolutely.
See, we talked a little bit about the boat launch earlier.
Yes.
And that there may be kind of a temporary fix or something we could do. Is there any update on the boat launch permit?
I need Dana's signature, and that was on pause because of her personal circumstances that were going on, so just kind of waiting on that right now.
But nobody's worried,
That it won't go through, or,
or that we'll have difficulty launching boats.
well, I think we
Doesn't
can
come
probably
with
come up with a temporary solution that would work to get the boat in.
Just a helicopter crash on the boat.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It won't turn on. It's like, you are grounded.
I think we could probably figure something out to get, a temporary down, at least for one of the tires to get into the water. And then we can pull it out as needed.
Good shit out.
Yeah.
Have a party though. We can,
All else fails.
We'll have to talk about what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. A lot of stuff, so.
Yeah. we'll make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the airboat will run here one way or another. It will.
All right, moving on to general business, the news, is God excused? You have to stay. Okay.
This point out here.
You're committed. Okay, the newsletter to go with the assessment.
Yeah, so this is kind of just a placeholder for us right now. I talked to our communications staff yesterday about formatting and whatnot. We can play around formatting and stuff like that, but what I'm really looking for is just some content from the group here. I think Leilani was gonna write a poem. We've already got some photos from her. If there's anything that, you wanna write up, or you wanna write up about the vegetation management update, or we could pull from the annual report as well. That would be pretty easy cut paste from the annual report. We can just do a budget update with new, the current rates, where we're sitting at. That's pretty straightforward. Lakeside perspectives, this one we played around with in the past. We've had one about Gary. I think Gary wrote one as well. I don't know, I thought Rusty said he was maybe interested in something like that. We may have we could probably talk to Grant about doing a lakeside stewardship.
Like you said, Kelsey's doing a lake one specifically for this.
So we might have some internal staff write a quick one on lake stewardship, best management practices and things like that.
But don't fertilize the side where the lake is.
And then anything else, general announcements, fun stuff, the blip. Oh, that went off
We
this year.
didn't do it this year.
What?
I needed a break.
What's the blip?
The weather was terrible. It's the Barnes Lake Illuminated Parade.
Oh,
It's kind of a big deal.
nice.
And it's pretty cool.
It is.
It is.
It's cool, yeah, there's not like a big following.
So where does the parade take it up?
On the lake.
Kayak.
Yeah.
Kayak.
Boat parade.
I've been here since 2017 and never saw such a thing.
Well,
What
it's a
day am I
little
missing?
unpredictable,
Okay.
kind of
It's like,
last
what?
minute sort of thing, because it's so weather dependent. Nobody wants to
Sure.
paddle kayak around when it's 39 and raining.
So if we
So, in the dark.
had it in
Yeah.
the newsletter, it would be a thing.
Yeah, so I took a year off. Next year, we're gonna go hard. Yeah, so. Yourselves more.
Yeah, and anything else that's, you know, of significance, we can throw in there too, so.
So when does that go out?
We do need this to happen between now and the next meeting, so. Because the assessments will go out April-ish. Yeah, so if we have volunteers. We can put deadlines out there for articles. Let's see.
If we're sending it out in April, I know if our communication group is involved, we're gonna need that by March.
I nominate Rusty.
I second that.
All in favor, discussion.
All right.
So, I mean,
He's a
we
good writer.
do,
Yes.
Do we
He's
want
not
it?
here.
do it by March 7th, end of first week of March,
I would just tell people by March 1.
by March 1.
You got a month,
You got a month to write a paragraph,
right?
so there you go.
Means it'll start at the 28th.
So who's gonna tell Rusty that he wants
Procrastination makes the ideas flow. No.
Mulani was supposed to write a poem. She sent me 28 pictures.
Oh.
Of what?
Uh,
Like what the lake used to
Pictures
be?
are silent wave words, right?
Poetry and arts.
When I turn everything off at the end of the day, you'll see one. It's my screensaver.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, oh.
I didn't realize it until I turned the computer on. I was like, oh my god.
Right, how much time do we have?
I'll hit up Rusty,
Yeah.
see if he's, wants to
Yeah,
do like set
normally that we have
perspectives. Do you wanna do anything from the chair or anything like that?
Right about the blip.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
That
but
didn't-
No.
it didn't happen, so.
Is there still that Facebook group, Barnes Lake Facebook group?
I don't
Is there
think
any
anyone's
news on there
posted.
or anything lately?
Oh, let's see, Rusty posted something. I tried to post the picture of the geese walking on the ice. And I put the agenda today, said, looking forward to seeing you at the meeting. I think Rusty and I are the only two who look at it.
I did see your post.
I didn't even know there was such a
Today,
thing.
I did.
So I
Did you
guess
see
I
the-
need to get on there.
I did not see the geese.
Oh.
Yes.
Right.
Kathy's got the official name of it, so
Okay.
you can look it up.
Barnes Lake Conservancy.
Yeah.
Conservancy, that's right.
So the steering committee vacancy situation has not changed.
I
is that
know, I
correct?
tried with Matt again.
Mary McCaffrey.
Did she submit an
She
application?
did.
Okay,
Whoa.
I didn't know that because it was not in the meeting.
Well, I
The
did.
minutes from the last meeting.
Right, we didn't think anybody did, I checked the records and she did, so we just gotta figure out the process to get that through.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Any movement on the road issues?
This-
Kind of.
If we haven't heard from anybody
The other
else.
guy was in John Bradley's cage again.
So what did you say that person's name was?
Sure, McCaffrey.
She's Daisy Lane.
Yeah,
McCaffrey.
and she's been involved different times.
And Scott, you met her, her house was one of the.
Yeah.
Mhm. looks like one of the old
She's
people from
never,
Daisy Lane.
she's never,
We all
she's
look
never come
alike.
to a meeting, has she? No.
You mean like on Zoom or something?
So we
Or
were gonna,
anything.
remember we were gonna invite her to the next
She's
meeting?
been here as long as anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Becomes her
Yes, yes, yes.
interview.
We can see if she can come to the April 3rd meeting.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Isn't it SHA?
I don't know. I'm
Never mind.
Okay, the 2025 work plan. Where are we?
Low tempo, who's long?
Just to show, because this is how we have it, so here's the updated committee list.
The stuff for Judith didn't get erased on the right side. Down.
The reappointments.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and her email address. Interesting, okay.
my phone number's wrong. I don't even recognize
Vacant
that.
WPL.
Who's here?
Hey, did you do that on purpose?
Oh, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. I think I've said this before, that it's the one. Probably known.
Okay, submit the annual work plan. Yes.
No, that hasn't been done yet. We have not submitted the annual work plan or budget for council because we've kind of been making some changes. So I think we're closer now than we were before. The work plan, the only task that we did not include on here was the IVAMP. So the IVAMP year.
Well, Kathy seems to think that it's not until 2030, so we need to look into that.
We had it budgeted for this year. 2030 is really towards the end of the life of the LMD, so it's every.
Well, because doesn't it go to 35?
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to do this year?
Just update it.
How much money does that cost?
That's what we're gonna find out. We've got to go out to RFQ for a competitive bidding process and proposal. And see what that.
Like you said, we have 15,000 set aside for it. Because it's an update, not a full plan, right?
I think that was in the charter. to Do that this year, so. But we've, like Patrick said, we got budgeted for it, anticipated it. So Patrick and I have gotten pretty good at this RFQ stuff. RFQs, request for qualifications, so we know what we want. Kind of have an idea of how much it's gonna cost. We just gotta put it out there to see who wants the work.
Hopefully. It's all good.
Is that we do the first?
Mhm.
All right, oh, okay. Working with them on project right now.
The
so-
first one, we didn't quite realize how much we plagiarized. So when she came in, she says, I recognize a lot of this. She was really good.
So I'm not sure when that timeline for that's gonna fit in here.
Well, it won't affect this year's work anyway, so it's
No.
just something that happens at the same time.
So the process usually works, you put the RFQ out there, you get some proposals back. If there's more than one, you conduct some interviews. And then you select your preferred consultant to do that, and then kind of manage them through what we're looking for as far as that event goes as that process happens. So there's probably a couple of check-in meetings with the consultants. And so I guess we're looking for representation from the steering committee that wants to participate in that.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the dates again?
Yeah, so. probably get that started sooner than later, probably, April, May, June, somewhere in there. We we have a template for the RFQ stuff, so that's pretty easy to pull together. Have somebody review it from the steering committee, and then we'll throw it out there.
I will if you will.
Okay.
We got two.
We still may only get one response, and in that case, do we still have to interview?
Yeah.
So that happened to one of my projects recently, and actually the first go around, we didn't get any responses. So we broadened our search and did get Herrera to bite. We, instead of interviewing, we just kind of informed. Basically kind of went over some introductory type stuff. And away you go. So it's fairly straightforward once. This is, I've asked pretty straightforward, so.
On this, the work plan, so from March, April, where it says number 3, submit a revised roll of rates and charges. I thought that now we did away with that. Because we have a plan.
Well, it's automatically increasing each year, so we need to remind people what they gotta pay this year.
Yeah, but
And that's as necessary, so if we, decided we wanted to use, a hovercraft this year, and we're gonna increase rates by 20%, have to do a revised roll of rates and charges, so that's why.
So if we don't revise it, then we don't.
So we gotta at least look at it each year, yeah.
But we do need to
I
make
don't have
sure
one of those,
the
but
finance department
you guys
knows.
want these? Be awesome.
Yeah, we're not making,
Okay.
we're not making changes, so this year, we're not proposing to make changes unless you guys are proposing to make a change, and so it will just automatically happen.
It will-
the 5% will automatically happen.
Correct. Yeah, it's already in the fee schedule.
Okay.
We just wanted to make sure that whoever is in charge of billing people makes that calculation.
Yeah, they have the same table,
Yeah, some thought.
the assessment fee table, I think we passed it already earlier today.
She may have stuck on the bottom, it was like the last thing they went in.
Yeah.
The problem is that I can't even see this stupid scroller.
So here's the assessment.
Oh, that's right, we printed them all out.
Turn them off.
2025, oh. a couple
Yeah,
years
every
worth.
year,
2020.
it goes to 29. So this is helpful, thank you.
Anything on the work plan that we've not tackled?
I did revise it quite a bit. With some of the stuff that we're not doing anymore, or we're changing a little bit based on just based on current activities that we're doing, so walkabouts on the 10th, meetings, stuff like that. So it wasn't a whole lot different than the last couple of years. I think I did include the newsletter deadline in there. Oh, this here, distribute LMD newsletter. So, yeah. So we will add the IBAM process in this. And again, it's just kind of generalized so that the RFQ will probably be in that March, April time slot. Interview May, June, and then we'll actually be conducting the work through summer. Probably the order operations there.
So Scott, do you get what we get? Like in terms of the meeting packets, do you get that?
Okay, just got,
We send him the agendas on the
Yeah.
meetings that we think he's gonna be coming.
Seems like it would be helpful for you to at least have access to all of the.
I get, I might. I'm not sure.
Let me check. I'll make
I
sure.
don't think I think I get some of them. I don't think.
Yeah,
I
at least,
don't think I get all of them.
yeah, it's not like, it's just like it's available for you.
Yeah, I usually try to get the packet out to the group. And it is available on.
And
website.
thank you for coming.
Oh, I just get the agenda. Yes, yes, okay.
Okay.
So our work plan looks good, ship shape.
So yeah, once we get the work plan finalized and the budget amended and stuff, then we'll go to council, Public Works Committee and present this. Dan usually did that in the past. I haven't been involved with that, so, not sure if there's,
What to council?
yeah, they approved the work plan and budget.
Oh,
So are we supposed to do that now at this meeting?
What?
Approve the work plan?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys need a motion for that, but unless you want to make some changes
Well,
or
if it's
anything.
going to council, right? It's going to council, so then we should,
Okay.
so move that we, approve the 2024, no, 2025 work plan as presented.
well, it's going to be amended to include the IVAMP into here.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
with the
so
amendment.
move to approve it with the
With that
amendment.
amendment.
Proposed amendments, yeah.
We have a second.
And I second that.
All in favor?
Kathy and Linnea for the interview panel.
I'm just banking on us getting one. This better not get six. All right, it's 2025 budget.
You small? So we've looked at this a few times. Do you have questions, comments, concerns?
So the only thing that we're gonna do is fill in the line based on what Scott submits.
Well, what happened, so we basically carried over this 60,000 and then these will be adjusted.
The great thing.
Correct.
Okay.
So when he does the scope of work amendment and gives us a proposed budget change, we'll put that in. And then ultimately, when he sends us a bill, it will go in this green portion. And then that's what will ultimately change the numbers, right? So then the IVAMP, we'll send out the RFQ. They'll, ultimately we'll find out how much that's gonna cost. We'll adjust that, then they'll send us a bill that will go in the green, so this is what we've budgeted or estimated for this year. They will change. But right now, we have a lot more money than what we would need or what is being proposed right now. If, that 27 plus, extra becomes 35, plus 15, now you're looking at 50, 57. So, we have 80-ish still should be plenty for this year with, you know, extra.
We're doing all right.
Yeah. Scott, how long does the fluoridone treatment last?
They can carry over for a couple of years. So we should be able to do like smaller spot treatments, things like that, if it
Is that-
comes back.
I remember when Doug would talk about it,
Yeah.
and Dave brought it up too, I mean, that we did it several years, maybe 4 years ago. But it was with the expectation that, yeah,
Well, the big difference between, so this is called a systemic. So a systemic herbicide, what it does is it's kind of like a medicine that goes into your bloodstream and circulates through it, as opposed to something that's a lotion and just works right there. Okay, so contact herbicide kills whatever it touches. A systemic will go all through it and kill the roots, will kill everything. And so what that does is it makes it so that it can't flower, it can't reproduce, it can't do, it is completely dead. And so that's the big difference between, you know, something that reproduces through a rhizome or any sort of roots or anything like that. It won't be allowed to, it won't do that. So it kills it completely. So systemics usually have longer lasting control because of that. You know, something that produces a flower might already have gone to seed. You kill the plant, but the seed's already out there and it's just gonna reproduce. So that's one of the big reasons why systemics have longer control.
So is this budget once again, by us, that then goes to the city council with the work plan?
Yes, that would be.
So are there, at this time, any changes that,
Do you approve a budget? The budget is what a budget is.
I guess for the allocated costs for Aquatechnics, the IVAMP and any lab fees.
But they're just placeholders. They're not actual, they're not
Right.
bills yet.
Bills.
but then when we get the information and it's updated?
Right, but if we were changing your fee schedule, you would vote on that. We're just saying, here's where your money is at this time.
We're saying that we're recognizing the great part as well. I thought we did, but that it's just
I missed the part about when we explained the difference between the budget column and the revised budget column. Because the numbers are all the same except for the total expenditures, which are $39,000 difference. But there's no $39,000 difference in the numbers in the columns. So I'm missing what those two columns are in terms of the differences. See this number right here? This one and this one. These are all the same, all the rest of the way up to the top of the page. So I'm not sure how this column adds up to that and this column adds up to that. So I'm not sure what we're showing there. I understand that what you said is
Right.
it's all just a plan at this point. We don't know what the costs are gonna be. So I see, I get the concept that if the IVAMP or the lab services or the Aquatex comes in higher, then we've got, $40,000 of wiggle room. I get that.
Looking at the 2024, the same spots too, and it's. The math adds up there in 2024, but not in 2025. It's interesting.
so I guess that's something that when we come back around with specific monies, that,
And just to add mystery, the third column available budget is a different number in that same line.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Well, we'll
It's
clarify
like
the
there's
budget
fields
before the
missing.
next
Yeah.
meeting.
when it goes to the city council, we need to be able to explain it.
yeah, and they're gonna say, did you not?
Yeah, they'll ask the same question. What?
And this is probably Dan's original original.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, under the bus.
Sorry.
It feels like they're hidden
Well,
fields.
this is where we started our conversation tonight.
Tonight,
And when
before-
I say, and I was staring at this and I said, well, not everybody does them the same way.
Yeah.
And you said, is there a way to do it? And I wasn't gonna answer the question because it was like, it doesn't make sense to me. Because I saw the same thing.
And in light of our history of having some kind of colossal spreadsheet glitch, we probably want to get this squared away.
Yeah.
Get to the bottom of it.
We'll clarify it. and-
The possibility that that glitch is still in the spreadsheet. So good catch, Tom, thank you.
Well, it almost looks like they did a sum instead of a pass through, if that's the right way to say it. Like they're adding the 17, the 15, the 750 together and getting the 83,
Yeah, is it? in
but there's
just-
no there's no 932 represented. There's no, oh, there's the 2 up top. Yeah, it's interesting.
Glad you did motion to approve.
Yeah.
That's why we do this. You know, all of a sudden, we're gonna be accountable.
That's what it is, though. It's professional services is accounted for twice under the revised budget.
Ah.
The 39.5.
39,500. It is 39.5 isn't it? Difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you're right, the available budget.
Yeah, someone needs to fix that before we. Okay, any future agenda items?
Future budget.
Are we gonna approve? What do you
No,
think?
this is next time.
Oh, for future agenda items, we'd like to address the
The
twenty
future
twenty-five budget.
Then the state.
Great
report
idea.
And the newsletter, those were 3 things going forward. And
What were all 3 of them?
Future budget, future statement of work, the newsletter, and then, of course, the boat launch.
6 people making meeting minutes. Compare them all.
Right.
Okay. We're done. Can I get out of here and go to a concert?
You just
Children
like,
playing
No,
music.
it's
Yeah,
high
first one.
school.
Oh, high school
Mark.
people.
They're actually good.
Are you?
The way you
volunteering
were
for
saying.
Oh, it used to be
Um,
all one.
Oh, it
person.
used to be.
They
well,
separate, so we
you
don't.
had
have
the
to-
section about best practices kind of stuff, and I know that there's stuff like, don't fertilize your backyard
Yeah.
by the lake, and don't use the little copper stuff on your roof. It's gonna run to the lake, and all those different, the zinc, yeah, that's it. So. But the dog waste, so it doesn't run in the lake, like all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
I don't
so
know
I
if
think,
that's, there's a summary that your folks already have that could go into there, but.
Well, kind of. I mean, we have our outreach education specialist grant that,
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of canned
Yeah.
types of articles
Yeah.
already, but if you've got something specific that you would like to.
Nothing magical, I was just gonna copy somebody else's stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's always chat GBT too, so, but no, we
Oh, let's see
we
if I
can,
got any pictures or.
that, pictures would be great. If you got
oh,
photos.
pictures.
Yeah.
Leilani's picture.
Oh, yeah.
Are we adjourned?
You promised us.
Well, you have to.
Yes, we're adjourned, I think. And then Patrick
I have a
promised us
video
a
of me
picture.
releasing a wood dog that I have in my house.
Wow.
That's a couple years old though.
I know, no.
That's okay.
that
It's
was
as
all
fresh as the day when.
It was actually fun. It was
Oh,
funny
there we
because
go.
Wow.
pest control is just like, if it's a wood dog, we can't put it out because they're endangered species and we can't touch it. And I said, so you're gonna say that it has to die?